an amateur. It was just the fact that Claressa Shields used her legs. The jab was there for her all night. Power flurries. And Savannah Marshall, at certain stages of the fight, tried to impose her physicality, her length, and her size. But in the end, the greatest woman of all time can now say so, and without dispute, because a two-time Olympic gold medalist and now a three-time undisputed champion, Claressa Shields wins by unanimous decision. And the numbers bear out a dominant victory in terms of the percentages of punches landed, 36-34 and 175-136 overall. And it's those power punches, 131-122, that really made a difference. Let's listen to Claressa Shields after her historic victory.
Tears of joy, you're undisputed champion once again. You've had some pretty special nights in your career today. I just wonder where this one ranks. Take your time, take your time.
I just want to thank God because I've been working hard for a very long time and no one has given me credit. But after that display tonight and after a tough opponent, you know, I couldn't even see out my right eye rounds 6 through 10 because she do hit hard. But I bit down and I did what I do in training. And I got the job done, so I just want to thank Savannah Marshall and her team. I want to thank the whole UK for being here because it's not just a special moment for me, but it's a special moment for women's boxing. Savannah Marshall, Alicia Baumgartner, Michaela Mayer, Caroline Du Bois. I mean, women's boxing has been around for so many years and so many greats that came before us, but here we are in front of 20,000 fans in London at the O2 Arena. And I think that's fight of the year. I'm just so happy. And it's an unbelievable moment right now.
I can't hear it.
No doubt this year will go down as one of the greatest ever in women's boxing. It started with Amanda Serrano against Katie Taylor, filling up Madison Square Garden, and now Claressa Shields against Savannah Marshall for the undisputed title. On the undercard, we had a triple unification, Michaela Mayer against Alicia Baumgartner. And she said something very important about the victory and what it means, Andre, but you know what she's been through to be a two-time Olympian, as the last male to win Olympic gold. What are your thoughts on what she's accomplished and what this victory does to her legacy?
Well, I don't know what it feels like to be a two-time gold medalist. I wish I did. I only got one of those bad boys in the house. So she's in rare air. She's done some things that isn't done very often. And it translated to the pro game. And you see all the championships she's won. And, you know, people try to find a way to hate on Claressa because it's funny how it's interesting to me how some fighters that talk loud and they're boisterous, they say it's entertaining. And then other fighters that do it, they say, oh, it's you know, we don't want to hear that. Just shut up and fight. It's interesting to me how that happens. But she's backed it up. And she continues to back it up. And she did it again against Savannah Marshall. And it was an interesting fight because she was in control, Claressa, the whole night. But Marshall had moments. And there were times where Claressa went back to the ropes and gave Savannah Marshall some action. It looked like maybe Savannah Marshall was doing more than what she was doing. And it was one of those fights that Claressa dominated, but it looked close on the surface. And we kind of commented about that throughout the fight. But again, it was one that she was in control of the whole way. And I've just seen her mature as a young lady, the way she deals with media, the way she deals with fans. You know, she was not liked in that arena. She was booed, and she smiled her way to the ring, and she smiled her way out of the ring. So my biggest thing for Claressa, I'm happy she did her thing. I learned parts about her story in the Mark Kriegel piece that I was unaware of, and it just makes you feel good for an individual who had such a unbelievable childhood, something that no child should have to go through, and you see her overcome it and become, a public figure, a two-time gold medalist in all these championships as a professional. So as a person, I'm proud and happy for her, and as a fighter, I mean, she's the best. And I don't know how much more people can argue with her being the GWOAT. A lot of great women have come before her. I'm a big Layla Ali fan, but man, Claressa Shields has put her staff in the ground, and it's hard to deny the type of fighter she is. I just hope that she gets the credit and the just due that she deserves.
Oh, she gonna get the credit, no doubt about it. She getting the credit, but she did the same.
But you know how the haters are. You know, they move the goalposts every time. You know how that goes.
Oh, stop with the haters.
as Devin Haney did. You know, she went over the hostile territory. You know, went after Savannah Marshall to get that belt, become undisputed. That's rare. You know, you have a champion that holds 3 belts go overseas to their hometown and beat them over there like she did. So congratulations, Claressa Shields. She is the best. She is the GWOAT. No doubt about it. And I told you guys beforehand, I guaranteed you that she was going to win this fight. But how she won the fight to me was interesting. Like Dre said, at mid-range, she dominated mid-range with those fast hands. You know, Savannah Marshall, I had a hard time really figuring out what her game plan was. You know, we talked about her size and her reach and her boxing ability, but she didn't use any of that. When I looked at the punch stats, I think it was like 14% jabs. I believe that Claressa Shields landed more jabs than Savannah Marshall. That's interesting. You know, this Fury style that they try to implement where they switching stances and things like that, that's for Tyson Fury. That's only for Tyson Fury. Everybody else that tries to adopt that type of style, you're going to struggle. Because all that head moving and all this stuff, what was all of that for, Savannah? It did nothing. If you don't counter off that, then you're wasting your movement. You're wasting your time. Claressa Shields dominated mid-range and inside, and the only problem that I saw that may influence the judges is you alluded to it, Dre, stand on those ropes. You know, being on those ropes. We talk about effective aggression. You know what that means? That means when you're putting the pressure on somebody and you're pinning them against the ropes and you're actually working. That's what Savannah did. That's the reason why we said the fight was close. It looked close. It's the optics. It's the way it looks. That's the word you like to use, Dre. I'm using it. The optics, the way it looked at the end of the day. And, you know, so, you know, I hear everybody saying that, oh, the fight wasn't even close. Claressa Shields dominated. Yes, she did dominate. But at the same time, it was a tough fight. And Savannah Marshall did win some rounds. She did not win just one round. She won it multiple rounds, especially on the back end. So, great fight. Congratulations, Claressa Shields. I don't know what's next for you. I mean, three-time undisputed champion? Come on. What's more to do? I mean, Hollywood?
I don't understand why we waste so much damn time anticipating what haters are going to say. I don't know this when this became a thing. One of the reasons why this was such a distinguished fight is because of the performance that Savannah Marshall put on. She didn't come out for the last round the way they did in the previous fight. She fought all the way through, and she helped escort Claressa Shields to an even more special place. She never relented, Savannah Marshall, and it made Claressa Shields' performance that much more special. Dre, thank you for citing that story. Wait, hold on.
For sure.
I want to try to put into context what this woman did. When I started covering this game, first of all, she didn't just raise herself up. She raised the game up. And we were in London today, or there was a fight in London today because Claressa Shields made that damn thing happen. One of the things that she did, wait, change the whole, when I started covering this game, there was 2 ways you could sell women's boxing. You could sex up the A side, or you could make it a freak show, like mud wrestling. And this year it became a sport. And this was the finest card that the sport has ever had. I'm sorry, Dre, go ahead now.
No, you're good. I'm sorry for stepping on you. I didn't know you were pausing. I'll just say this about when you talk about the naysayers and the haters, you're absolutely right. And I had to learn this throughout my career is that you don't want to give them too much credit. But the reality is for Claressa Shields, she's been very vocal about not getting the due respect that she deserves. And I think that's okay to say that because whether for good or for bad, that's part of the fuel that fuels Claressa Shields. Yes, it's her upbringing. Yes, it's the things that she overcame. But it's not okay for the people to write articles and say disparaging things. And it's not even just about not giving you credit, but saying negative things. You're not a draw and you're not a star. And I don't care what you've won. You haven't fought anybody. And then when you do what they say you can't do, they get real quiet. So I think it's okay to mention the people that have tried to put roadblocks in her way and mention that she's overcome them and they haven't stopped her. And now's a good time for all the naysayers and the critics to have a little bit of integrity and say, hey, I was wrong about her. She's not just a good fighter. She's also a star.